Yesterday, when peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, it is well. It's your wedding day. This is the happiest day of your life, at least to this point. All the family has gathered in town for your big day. As you prepare to go to the ceremony, the house is filled with laughter, and you joke with your mom and dad about the day finally coming to make you an honest woman. You've been playing the field too long. You sit in front of the mirror and start to apply your makeup. Your mother passes by and pauses. As the two of you gaze into the looking glass, you both realize just how much alike you look. She smiles at you and then asks you what you plan on doing with your hair. The phone rings and it's your girlfriend next door. Your mom yells, "You don't have time to talk on that phone. Tell her you'll see her later." Then she asks whether or not you have anything blue. You know, the old adage about the bride having to have something old, something new, something borrowed, and something blue. You tell your mom that you don't have one thing that's blue and that you actually forgotten all about the blue. She says, "Never mind, I'll find something. Maybe your grandmother has something that's blue." And she goes on chatting about how much blue she has at home many miles away as you listen to your dad and mom debate the pros and cons of going to purchase something. You trail off into deep thought about your future as Mrs. Best Catch. In the background, you can hear your grandmother asking for some help in the kitchen, and everyone is laughing about the lopsided cake she baked. With all the chatter, laughter, and noise from the noise and music your father is playing, you could hardly hear the doorbell ring. You hear your mom ask in an annoyed way, "Now, who could that be? We need to get going." Then she says to you, "Susie Q, get the door." Frustrated but happy, you run to the door and swing it open. There in front of you stands a drably dressed woman. She could not possibly be part of the wedding party dressed like that, but if you can ask her what she wants, she says to you, "If Susie Q lives here." You reply curiously that you're Susie Q. Then you look beyond her to see if she is from the florist or even Publishers Clearinghouse. After all, this is your day. But there's no flower truck and no cameras. Darn. This grim looking and drably dressed woman tells you she's from the health department, and then she hands you an envelope and walks away. "Who was that?" Mom asks. Yeah, who was that?" Your dad chimes in. You tell them you don't know who the woman was and that she only gave you an envelope. "I hope it's not a court summons," your dad says. You assure him that it's not, and you tell them that the woman said she was from the health department. In response to that statement, you immediately hear a chorus of voices saying, "The health department." Then everyone is speculating on what the health department wants with you. "Maybe it's a job," your grandmother says. Then your mom says, "Well, hurry up and open it so we can know what they want." You quickly rip over the letter from its plain white wrapper and read it aloud so to satisfy everyone's curiosity. To save time as you start to put on your dress and read at the same time, it says, "Dear Susie Q, it's important that you contact our office or your personal physician immediately. Our lab results show that your blood tested positive for H." You feel the blood drain from your face. You try to read it again. "Your blood tested positive for H." Your voice gets a little lower and a little slower. "Your blood tests positive for HIV. Early treatment." The silence throughout the house is deafening. The only sound in the house is that of water boiling out of a pot on the flames onto a stove. Your mother finally gets the sand out of her mouth and sighs. Oh my God in heaven. Devastation is an understatement. Is this some kind of sick joke, you think? Who? What? Where? Then you try to quickly remember all of your questionable and unquestionable sexual partners of the past and the unprotected sex amid the warnings. You feel your father's hand on your shoulder and you turn to him and hug him for dear life, wishing that this day had never happened. If only it could be yesterday again. You think to yourself, "Hey, Mom, I finally have something blue." The Beatles wrote a song that reflects the sentiment of this tale of woe. The song's entitled Yesterday. After all, the trials and tribulations of today, there will be many who will say, like the Beatles, yesterday, all my troubles seemed so far away, but now it looks as though they're here to stay. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Maybe you have been diagnosed with HIV or some incurable disease, and you don't know what to do about your tomorrows. Let me strongly suggest that you can come to Jesus. In the Bible, there's a story about a man who came to Jesus to ask him to heal his daughter, who was very ill. Jesus told the man to go back home and his daughter would be okay. When the man reached home the next day, sure enough, his daughter had been healed, just as Jesus had told him she would be. Out of curiosity, he asked one of the servants at what hour his daughter had started to improve. And when he found out the time, he knew that on yesterday, that was the time Jesus told him to return home. Jesus Christ wants you to know that he is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. In the Bible, John 15:6-7, Jesus says, if a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch and is withered, and men gather them and cast them into the fire, and they are burned. If you abide in me, and my words abide in you, you shall ask what you will, and it shall be done to you. Believe this, and you won't have to believe only in yesterday. Be blessed.